All welcome to Dirt Water Sass, Ep.2. Today, we will be discussing in this series with my sister the differences between A and B. We're going to be talking about our mother. And our mother was known to have many issues, but she was also very beautiful and really known for her beauty. And I don't say that because she's my mother. Like, she was
Beautiful.
up until a certain age, she was absolutely gorgeous. Our family, my mom's side of the family goes back to Cherokee, and so there's a lot of Cherokee in my mom's family, and so you can just imagine beautiful hazel eyes, dark hair, olive skin tone. I mean, the body of a model. I mean, she really was pretty, and we witnessed as her children kind of the downfall of her addiction, which led to many mental health issues as well. So today we're going to dive into drug addiction and how it affects mental illness, and we actually have different perspectives on this. Probably some things we're going to agree on, and again, a lot of it comes back to we just have different memories in different situations. So we're going to start off with just talking about just her mental illness and the different diagnoses she had, which led to a lot of her prescription medication that she should have never been allowed to take, never been prescribed, which ultimately led to her overdose death. So we'll start off just with I'm trying to remember kind of a first episode of the mental illness, and I can't seem to think of anything before the night of that first seizure.
I remember the first one.
Like I keep trying to but with that right there, I think, like, I didn't know at the time that it was probably related to her drug addiction. I
When
just
we
didn't
were
know.
kids. We were
Yes,
kids.
but I feel like a lot of health problems just kind of started accumulating past that throughout the years. But I know that you had mentioned this topic for us to
Yes.
discuss, so I'm gonna go ahead and let you kind of talk
Feed
about
into that.
yeah, yeah, where your head is and why you wanna discuss this.
Okay, so I remember the first episode, of, okay, we were living in Nashville, and I think was it Lorinda? I can't remember, but we were in Nashville, and, I was maybe 4, maybe 5. We were just about to move, and, I had this feeling come over me, and then I heard, dad and mom and dad yelling, anyway, um, and I go in there and mom's having a seizure, but at the time, we thought that she was epileptic, and she wasn't. Um, she was coming off of Valium, and I remember dad telling me that, you had helped her make brownies and put salt instead of sugar in the brownies.
Yeah. See, again, this is a
He
perfect example of the differences in our memories and how our childhood affected us because she actually didn't have a seizure at that house. It was our house she had her first seizure at another house, but you actually remember it at this particular house when it wasn't
Right.
the particular house. And I don't even remember that
It
conversation. Like, I have no memories of why dad said it
well,
or
it bothered me because they blamed it on you.
I didn't even know they blamed it on me. I didn't even know that. So,
They
yeah,
were just hiding that was when he was working at that first particular pharmaceutical company,
yeah,
and
that is just really interesting 'cause,
oh,
it
I'll remember it like tomorrow.
yeah,
I have never well, c it scared me to death. It was the house that had the 3 little steps. I
yeah,
know you told me
that wasn't Lorinda, that was in
that
Antioch.
was somewhere diff okay.
Yeah, yeah,
It was that one, but
yeah,
anyway, I'll never forget just the whole scene. I can still see it in my mind because it
yeah,
scared me. It
yeah,
scared me to death. Um, that wasn't the only one. A child that mom used to keep or babysit, his mother showed up at school, and we had moved, already by then, and, she showed up at the school to pick me up, and I was so confused. Why was she picking me up? And she takes me home and she said, "I just want to, let you know that everything's okay." And I didn't know what was going on, so she filled me in and she said, "Your mom has had a seizure, and while she was keeping my baby, she had a seizure."
Yeah.
And it wasn't, I mean, she always told us she was epileptic, but she wasn't. It was from withdrawal.
Yeah. And she was probably taking epileptic medication, quite honestly, because people never feel and still to this day, I feel that the medical establishment doesn't keep track of addicts. Like, they don't
Oh, no.
care. Like, they if they don't care today, they definitely didn't care then. Like,
Abs
it was never part of the process of when someone goes to the ER, especially then, um, what is maybe is her medication, but what people need to realize is that our parents abused medication that was prescribed. So, these were prescription medications by a
from a
doctor.
doctor.
So if they were to go into the ER with a pain or whatever and they needed a fix, they all they had to do was say, "Oh yeah, here's my doctor, here's my Medicaid, here's my pill bottle." Like for whatever reason, it never they were never flagged for being addicts. And our system still doesn't flag people that do that, right? Like they still don't flag.
Right.
I mean, we have doctors out here that's their job. They make money off
Oh,
prescribing medication to
absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Like, sending her to Pathways, all they did was give her more.
Yeah, yeah. But
Ep
but back to kind of this
the
spiraling
subject.
of this drug addiction, and again, we're young. I'm 4 years older than you, and so, a lot of what we're talking about is coming from a viewpoint of us being a child in this and not really knowing what was happening at the time. I I was very
Oh,
aware,
yeah.
I even young. I mean, I've always known that my
The
parents
smell, the smell.
yeah, I mean,
The smell was so distinct.
yeah, and I just wanna make a disclaimer that our parents never actually smoked in front of us.
No, they didn't. They
They would
didn't.
go to their bathroom every night after
Or
dinner,
or
and
go
they
to
would
the
be in there
shed.
yes,
I
or
got a story about that
would
too.
they would put a towel under the door as if it
It was
didn't do
hiding
anything.
something.
So,
It
but I do wanna say that our parents never did anything
They
in
didn't neglect us. They didn't.
front of us. Right, yeah, yeah.
Right. They didn't never just sit around and, they never did that.
No,
Um,
at least not with me. They never
no, that
I've never experienced that with my parents.
okay.
That's the journey,
That
right?
was
Like
my later years when I was after 18,
yeah,
and that
yeah,
was my choice. That was a choice at this point. When you become an adult, you make a choice.
yeah,
But
yeah.
they
But
never, and I think that's why we didn't understand what they were doing. That's Loki. Come on, you can get in the back. Come on. We didn't understand what was going on, so we were confused. Like, what is that smell? What is, going on? I think we always knew when our parents were going to a specific friend's house
I think later
or
on, yes. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
and we
Or may
knew that's
well, maybe growing up too, because there's one particular family that when we would visit
yep,
Nashville again, we ended up
yep,
this particular house all of the time.
every
Yeah. And
time.
again, though, we
But
were friends with their kids. We grew up together. So, we liked going there, right?
we
Like,
did, we did.
yeah, I mean, it wasn't
We
we
would
liked
walk out with tons of ticks.
oh, for sure. Yes.
But I was gonna, getting back more to the mental, illness thing, um, we did cover mom was bipolar, right?
We haven't talked about that yet because the journey for us, I believe, in our heads started with the epilepsy, because we weren't quite convinced as young children, or we just didn't know that this was a drug addiction issue. Like we weren't there yet. Our parents were very functioning. So our dad was a very
Very functioning.
very successful pharmaceutical salesman, worked for he was very, very successful in that, and our mother actually she babysat out of her home, and she was great with babies, she loved babies,
She loved old people too.
she did. I mean, she just was kind of had that natural nurturing nature of her, and I just wanna preface too, because as this journey unfolds, our mother you could eat off our floors. I mean, our house was spotless. I mean, every day she cleaned it from top to bottom, like, everything had its place, everything was spotless, she was very clean, um
Very, very.
very, very clean, and, by the time she had passed away, it was complete opposite.
Oh, yeah.
So,
It's just like it went from 100 to 0
yeah,
quick.
yeah, and a lot of that has to do with the whole mental illness part, and eventually I don't remember this I don't have a memory of actually hearing or anyone talking about a bipolar diagnosis until I was, like, older. Like, what memory for you do you have of, like, that?
The actual okay, so, um, okay, the memory that I have well, I have several. Like I said, you were out of the house a little bit more before me, and, um,
Yeah, and
I
things happened in our childhood. I mean, mom had to go to treatment for writing prescription medication. Um, that
but
was I think she was gone for, like, a month.
a month, yeah, but
Yeah.
that's something else I kinda wanna hit on too because this is a serious, disease, and I have people argue with me all the time about, "It's a disease, okay," and I know it's about choices, I understand that, but when there is a mental illness involved as well, I don't necessarily know if it's a mental illness or if it's just an excuse. I've wondered that for years, you know? I
Yeah.
feel like people use it as an excuse, but I don't wanna offend anybody. But either, you wanna do right or you wanna do wrong. It's a choice. It's a choice. And I'll never forget just it was about a month ago, you told me, you said, "Brooke, I did it again." You have to make a choice. It's just about, deciding, if you're gonna defeat the devil or whatever. And I got to thinking about it, and I was like, that's right. That's absolutely right." And I'm not saying I don't believe in AA or I don't believe in certain programs, but like mom going to Pathways, all they did was give her more meds. I mean, she was on Xanax, Depakote, gosh, Resperdal. I mean, it was like 6 different medications, and all
Oh,
they
yeah.
were doing was numbing her.
Yeah.
They were numbing her. When y'all came to visit me in treatment that one time, I didn't even know her. She was dead. She was alive, but she had it's like she had no feeling or no emotion, nothing. And let me remind you, I'm just saying to everyone, my parents had to watch after my newborn baby while I was in treatment.
There
So
was a
I
lot during that time.
There was a
Um,
lot going on, and they had a little car, it was a little Skylark, and it barely pushed, and it broke down on them, and they had to start driving my car that I left at home, which is like a old Toyota Corolla. And, they were just really struggling, so I don't, disappreciate, I don't. So, I guess my point is, they always did what they could. They always did what they could, even through her problems and, my father trying to work 2 jobs to take care of my child. I have nothing bad to say, but at the same time, the younger years, we did go through a lot of, struggle, with that, and we always looked past it, did we not? We always I mean, You turned out great, but I didn't so much.
Well, again, I mean, I guess I just had people in my life, when I came to Christ that I I just had positive mentors in my life, and I took advantage of that. Like, that was,
I
um
did too, but I didn't, well,
and a
I
a personality difference, right? Like, I
right.
didn't care to be part of the party scene. It wasn't I still don't care to be part of a party scene. Like, I just
Oh, I don't either.
but I'm not but I think it goes back to, like, you're a people pleaser. You like fun. You like to be with people. You
I
you
just
like those
wanted to
things.
I just wanted to change the way I felt. I just
I
wanted to change the way I felt, and I don't
Well,
know why, because everything was good, but, I don't think I have any kind of I'm not bipolar, I'm always fun, I'm always happy most of the time, but, yeah, we have different personalities. This is A and B, n but it never separated us, but, yeah, I just remember the times when I would like I said, one minute mom was a fun person, then one minute she could be horrid,
yeah.
horrid, and I expressed that because I was at home a lot longer than you. Times when I didn't need to be at home, like at 24 or 25, when I lived at the house, and I shouldn't have been there, but I was. But
Well,
anyway,
I think for me, when I timeline her life, I timeline it starting when she was young. So she was kind of in the middle of many other siblings, right? Um, he he was supposedly had a learning disability.
she couldn't spell very well. Do you remember that?
Yeah. So she supposedly had a learning disability, didn't really do well in school. So it was really, I mean, again, a kid who struggles early on in school and doesn't actually build a self-esteem around something else,
Absolutely.
then it just kind of carries on with them. And eventually it develops into, well, where can I be noticed for something I'm good at? Right.
I know, I
And
know.
and I think for a mother, again, she was beautiful.
Beautiful.
Everybody wanted to be with her. She was fun. She was also a people pleaser, I believe. She wanted to be a part of the party. Um,
She just want people to accept her.
and I think that's a lot of where it started because then you find yourself in crowds that most of the time aren't positive crowds. Most of the time it's the bad guy, and she did was supposedly dated a bad guy throughout her high school until she dropped out years and met my
Yeah.
dad.
Yeah, I remember that.
And so and then she met my dad, our dad, and, I mean, he was an athlete, I think he was really smart, but he did come from a broken home. And his father was kind of a jerk, and so he came with a
I
lot. Yeah, he came with a lot of daddy issues,
He did.
um, so it was just kind of a it was kind of, very broken people in different ways that
Yeah.
came together. My dad was loved also being an athlete, and was very, very popular, and he was like he rescued her, and I think she would agree with that. At the time, like, I think she would say that he kinda rescued her, and
Absolutely.
and they got married very young, and, again, my dad had a discipline to him. He was hardworking, he knew how to work hard, he, loved his wife, and once had us, we were his girls, and that was his world, right? Like, that was his world, and I don't deny that about him at all. Um, but at some point, the parents need to grow up, right? And our parents just never grew up. They kept trying, when you're young, there's only there you can hide a lot, right? Like you can be a functioning addict. You can do all those things when you're young. At certain point, you can't
Yes.
do that anymore. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna come back and get you. And it did. The downfall of my dad, which, you know, again, led to kind of my mom's decline in everything was, he got fired. He got fired from a job that was a really good job, and, he actually moved out of Nashville for this company, and he was their, like, guy, their top sales guy, and he ended up getting fired. There's multiple family stories around that and why he got fired. I still don't know the truth. I don't really care. It doesn't matter. It was probably had a
I
lot to
care.
I know,
Okay.
but I'm sure it was drug addiction related.
Oh, I know. Okay, go ahead.
Everything was always drug addiction related. And I bring us to the point my mom's mental illness was drug addiction. And they're treating a mental illness without treating the addiction.
Exactly.
And
Yes.
which only compounded the addiction. Along the same lines, not only is they're trying to treat something that probably wouldn't exist without a drug addiction, she's probably going through menopause and she's not actively healthy. They're neither one are healthy. Neither one
She never had a doctor.
I mean, they never went to the doctor. We never went to the
Oh,
doctor.
dad did,
Oh, well, I
but
never went to the doctor.
I didn't
So
either. I don't even remember a pediatrician. Okay, anyway, go ahead.
we never went to the doctor.
Mm-mm.
We were never really sick either.
No,
So,
we
but
got the DNA.
but again, you know, when they started treating her for her mental illness and not treating her for her addiction, it only compounded the addiction, which literally ruined her life. It sent her down a spiral that she couldn't get out of and eventually
Yeah.
killed her. I mean, the medical field killed our mother. She
Oh,
died
yeah.
she died of an overdose, and she had every single classification of a drug in her system. So, and it's ruined our dad's life too because they were just codependent on each other like that. I mean, when he lost that job, he ended up doing, oh my gosh, stupid jobs, right? And I don't mean that offensively, but when you go from being a top salesperson, to driving a delivery truck, like,
And a carpet place
I
and
mean, it was just
construction.
anything that he could do, he was doing, and it really wore on him. And
Yeah,
again,
it
this
breaks your
wasn't a mental
confidence.
this wasn't a mental health problem, this was a drug addiction problem,
Right.
and it stemmed from, I guess, childhood trauma that wasn't dealt with.
Well,
Um
let me say this real quick about mom. Um, and I when I say this, I speak to anyone that's listening volumes. Just because you go through like, you go through things, in your childhood, say if you're bullied or you get made fun of because you can't catch on quick or you're overweight. Mom was really, hurt by that when she was a child. She said that people would make fun of her because she was a little fatter than the other kids. You don't remember that?
My gosh, have you seen the pictures of our mother? How in the
No,
world
when she was a
ever
child. When she was a child, she had a belly.
I
She had a
never
belly.
I've never heard this.
Yeah, that's what she said. She said that they used to make fun of her, when she was little because she was a little bit more overweight, and she might not have been that overweight, but she would get made fun of for that. She always told me that.
Interesting.
She couldn't read well,
Yeah.
um, but she had common sense, you know?
Yeah.
She wasn't dumb. Um, she and it might have been in her head, like I'm saying. She felt like she got picked on, and that's why she went to her aunt,
Yeah.
um, which she loved very much, and she considered her a mother to her because she felt accepted.
Yeah. And maybe that death also contributed
But it
because I remember that death. I mean, she was pretty immobile for a while. I mean, she took that very hard.
Yeah,
Um, you know, and she's not here to defend herself. She's not here to add anything to it. We're literally just kind of
full of her memories.
yeah, and the things that we know, and again, I didn't even know I've never had that conversation with her. Like, I've never heard that from her that she was made fun of when she was a little kid. She would always talk about being the black sheep,
Yes,
and her
yes.
family would say, "No, she wasn't." Well, it doesn't matter what they say. If she felt
Matter
that
how you feel.
is what matters.
Hang on. Can I just share this real quick? Hang on. It don't take me but a second. One of my customers brought this to me the other day, okay?
Yeah,
And it says, "I've learned that people will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." And that's Maya Angelou.
yeah.
My customer brought that to me, and he said, "You always make me feel so happy by the time I leave." And I think that is a very strong expression right there. You don't ever forget how someone makes you feel because it could affect you for the rest of your life, which imprints into how you return. So, in her mind, I guess my point in the whole mental thing is don't let people make you feel a certain way. You know what I mean? It
And I think
doesn't matter.
yeah, well, and I think also feelings are fleeting.
Yeah.
They're
I mean,
fleeting,
oh,
which is why they're not trustworthy, and
right,
I think a lot of times we're not taught that, okay, you may feel that way and it may hurt, but it doesn't make it true.
right.
It
Exactly.
doesn't make it true. And most of the time, feelings aren't from truth.
That's right.
They're from biases, deception, or expectations on people that they didn't know they had, or it could be anything. Every day of the month for a woman is completely different emotionally. I
Oh
mean,
gosh.
we're
It's
just
like a
built
roller
that
coaster.
way, right? Like, biologically, we're just built that way. And so, I mean, you don't and I think, again, I go back to my mother, and I look back in those later years, and I truly feel like she was probably going through menopause. And look at what's come out now about menopause. Like, how many women suffered with some kind of addiction during that period because nobody was treating menopause and they were just labeling them as crazy.
Exactly.
They were just
Exactly.
labeling them as crazy. And these women knew they weren't crazy, like, but nobody was listening. And how many women died because of that? And,
Exactly.
and I think that
Total.
not that our mother didn't have an addiction history, but you add menopause and just biological changes to on top of that, on top
Absolute.
of already being treated for something you didn't have in the first place. That is just like it's hell.
It's
That
like
is
a
hell.
suicide. It's like
It
a
is.
suicide.
It is definitely a suicide waiting to happen, which is what happened.
That's
And
what happened. Yes.
and unfortunately, no one's gonna be held accountable, right? Because 'Cause they're just gonna see her as a drug
Oh,
addict.
no. Oh, no. Yeah. And that's the label you get, you know?
Yes, in our life with this. But I kind of want to wrap this up and sum this up as an encouragement. Number one, if you are someone and you're watching this and something has struck you, please reach out. We want to be there for you. That we want to use our life story and even my mother's life story as a healing place for you. It is really important. And I know that she would be supporting everything we're doing right now
She would be so proud.
because I know that she knew she was living in hell, and she just really never had a shot. And, um, and I don't want anyone to have to go through what she went through, and I definitely don't want any kids or anyone in a family to have to go through what we went through, and and a spouse. My parents could have had a lovely marriage. They could have. But my dad has to live with the memory of his wife dying of an overdose, and he was so completely strung out, he didn't even know. He has to live with that every single day. No one should have to live with the hell that can put you through. And to the medical profession, do your job. You owe it to people to really get to the roots of things and not just prescribe medication. Most of the time, medication isn't going to do a dang thing. It's just not. It's going to make things worse. We are living examples of it My sister is a living example of what pills do. Opioids need to be banned for life. And we are the products of the opioid epidemic. I always say that we knew the creators of the opioid epidemic, and it was our parents. And we have lived through that our whole life and the repercussions of that. This is nothing new for us. We have been living in it our whole life. And so if you're a medical profession and you're still prescribing opioids, shame on you. Shame on you. And I will tell you that to your face. You are killing people, and it is unfair, and it is malpractice. So shame on you if you are still prescribing opioids. But to wrap this up positively, because we do have lives that we love now, and we have made it out of it, even though our father is still alive and dealing with it. We do have each other, and we do have positive testimonies, and Jesus has done amazing things in our life, and we owe him for everything good
Every
that has
yes.
happened in our life for sure. And I also just want to say, and I will say this multiple times, none of this happened because God designed it. He is not a God of evil. He is not a God of unloving acts of evil. That is Satan. And Satan wants to kill, steal, and destroy. And he will do it any way possible by any means. But our God is always good,
He's
always,
always good.
never outside of his goodness. He can't even be outside of his goodness. So everything bad that has happened in our life, everything bad that has happened in our parents was not designed by God. It was Satan. And I want you guys to understand that we are always in spiritual warfare, and Satan is always, always, always
Going to attack you.
go against God because he wants you to spend eternity in hell. So would you agree with that?
Absolutely. That is what his point is.
Yes.
He's the father of lies.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I just want to encourage you today and just stick around, subscribe. We have more coming for you, and we'll see you next time.